The free trading app Robinhood has raised close to $2 billion in its initial public offering. The company's market debut was hotly anticipated for months, but in the end it was a lackluster first day of trading. It priced shares at the low end of its range at $38 apiece. That valued the company at more than $30 billion. Paolo Montesilio has more on what makes the platform so popular.
Robinhood has been stealing the spotlight, becoming one of the most important companies on Wall Street. The online trading app makes money from stock market middlemen, so it's able to offer commission-free trading, turning into a major gateway for retail investors.
I say around 2 to 3 hours in a day I spend on my portfolio on app, on Robinhood or on Yahoo Finance or other platform.
Robinhood is sort of my, if I'm going to take a bet on a stock or I'm going to maybe dabble a bit in cryptocurrency, that's where I would move that money to, is onto that app.
Founded in 2015, Robinhood is now the third largest brokerage in the US, behind Fidelity and Charles Schwab. The company's 22.5 million users have a collective $100 billion in their accounts. A lot of those customers joined in the past year during the pandemic, using money from government stimulus checks.
People who really didn't need money got money from the government. And then you had a phenomenon where a lot of people were home. What were they doing with their extra time of being at home? And they start to hear, hey, this stock, a friend of theirs is making money in the stock market. I need to get involved in the stock market.
That's given small investors more power over markets. Robinhood became central to the Reddit squeeze that sent heavily shorted stocks like video games retailer GameStop and movie theater chain AMC through the roof. The trading app was unable to keep up, so Robinhood restricted trading of those shares.
Robinhood Securities put the restrictions in place in an effort to meet increased regulatory deposit requirements, not to help hedge funds.
The move angered Robinhood customers, forcing the platform to reconsider its decision.
Look, I'm sorry for what happened. What I commit to is making sure that we improve from this, we learn from it, and we don't make the same mistakes in the future.
The app has also come under fire following the suicide of a 20-year-old user who, due to a mistake, thought he owed $730,000. The glitch has since been fixed, and Robinhood settled with the family. Despite these controversies, Robinhood expects revenues to have more than doubled in the second quarter to $574 million. And it plans to expand into Europe and Asia. Paolo Montesilio, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, let's bring in Santosh Rao in Princeton, New Jersey. He's the head of research at the Merchant Bank Manhattan Venture Partners. Good to have you back with us, Santosh. It wasn't so long ago, a few months in fact, that really Robinhood was at the center of the so-called meme stock trading frenzy surrounding stocks like GameStop and AMC. Fast forward to now, it's gone public on Wall Street, and there's been a bit of an underwhelming response when you just look at the initial pricing of its stock. Why wasn't there more excitement, do you think?
Yeah, thanks for having me. See, Robinhood has been a maverick, has been a disruptor, and true to form, even the IPO, they're doing it in their own way, in a slightly different way. So 35% of the shares issued are going to the retail investors, their clients, most of them. So I think you're going to see the interest, the spike that you see with institutional investors, the diversity that you see with institutional and retail. Normally, the percentage of shares going to retail is much smaller. This time is much longer. So it's going to be difficult to judge the demand side of the equation in this type of scenario. But Robinhood is different, has been different, and they want to try this out, and they want to make this a template for the future IPOs, where the small guy on this main street gets a chance at the IPO. So I think that's their experiment. Let's see if it works. Let's see where it opens today, and let's see how it trades. But initially, as we noted in our reports already, that there's going to be a lot of volatility because the headwinds are pretty strong at this point, and it's still a work in progress, Robinhood is.
That's right. And Robinhood has become one of the COVID economy's breakout success stories. As more people were forced to stay at home, they couldn't go into the offices, they couldn't even venture out of their homes. They turned to apps like Robinhood in order to get into the stock market. But do you think it has a strong longer term future as the US economy and other economies around the world reopen? Are people going to be less concerned about retail trading?
Yes, that's the big risk. 85% of their revenues are based on transactions. So transaction volume drives that. So that's a big risk. And then payment for order flows, which is being looked at by the SEC, that's controversial. A big chunk of their revenues comes through that channel. So if that goes away, then they have to come explore other opportunities, other avenues to raise revenue. So there are a lot of issues out there. In the near term, maybe things will continue, but down the road, I see a lot of headwinds. So I think that's why we had priced the shares at 32 billion, and I think that's where it came. That's where they priced it because we believe the risk reward is definitely not favorable at this point. At 32, maybe it's fairly valued, but not at the earlier valuations that they had and people were talking about. Here, you can see the stock kind of trading here. The retail investors are there. We don't know if they're going to flip all the shares. And that's where the issue comes in. When you have institutional guys, they stay in there. But there's a lot of issues. We don't know who's going to come in and support the stock if it sells off. Uh, there are issues, and they need to diversify. They need to expand. They need to expand their geographic footprint. So there are a lot of things there. It's a good platform, and it has caught the imagination of the young cohort, which is a rising trading customer base. It's cheap, it's good, but let's see if they can maintain that competitive edge that they got in the early stages of this trading mania.
Yes, that is the big question, isn't it? Santosh Rao, always a pleasure. Thanks again for your analysis.
Thank you. Thank you.